Dune Part 2 has dropped in theaters, so it is now time to do a review on it. And before I get started, I'm just going to say this. Spoilers, because there will be spoilers here. Thank you all so much for clicking on this video. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. Share this video so it can get popular fast. And without further ado, we'll start with Dune Part 2. And of course, always we start with the good. My biggest positive is that I think that the performances in here are all great. So I like how this one it improves upon a lot of the things in the first film. Not all of them, but it I like how the performances in here. I like how people like Timothy Chalamet. He's a lot more. How do I skip? What's the word? But he's a lot more leader like. He feels like he's a lot more grown into this role of his, and I like that. And I think that Zendaya's she's decent here as well. And people like Rebecca Ferguson and Josh Brolin, all the casting all around, everyone's trying their hardest, and they're doing great. And let's just be honest, this if we're going off of objectively in terms of like just pure cinematography and just pure directing, this is a flawless film all around. Like wow, it looks utterly fantastic in terms of just like the cinematography. It looks visually stunning, and there's just so many great shots in here where there's like not a wasted camera shot, and there's so many characters that are really good. Like you get even more people in here that are new, like Florence Pugh being one of them. Who I to be honest, I realizing this after I'm not gonna be able to watch the film again and not see that scene in Oppenheimer without after any time I'm gonna watch this film. Every time we get to a scene with her, even though I can't help it, I'm now gonna have to think every time about that scene in Oppenheimer that's now burned into my head. Oh man, thanks a lot Oppenheimer for that, by the way. And I do like when we get it, but the action in here is shot beautifully, and it's really very, very well put together. It just has so many great layers to it, and I like how they do varieties of it. They have like some worm fights. They have like this black and white battle thing around the. I think it's like the middle of the film with around like the middle part of the film we get this like black and white thing on a moon that it was visually a bit confusing, but I did really enjoy that part of it, like the way that they shot the action and stuff. And I do think the score in here, the score, wow, this is a magnificent score. Everything is about this is just utterly great. But it's not perfect, so we're now going to move on to the mixed. This is not going to be like a 20 to 30 minute long review. It's not going to be very long. But now onto the mixed. I would say this one feels kind of episodic, especially in like the first act and a half. So, and the half of the second act. So, it feels kind of like it's episodic, like it's jumping around like the black and white moon part, and that's kind of like an episode and stuff, and some other stuff. But to me, it just felt kind of episodic. Another thing is that that I was mixed upon is that actually no, that is it. And now we're on to the bad, and of which I have three, which don't kill me, just see. My first one is that for me, the finale of the film felt very rushed. It felt like they just completely out of nowhere were jumping to it. They didn't feel like they were building it up the whole film. They felt like just out of nowhere they were just like talking about something, and then boom, we're in the final out. We're in the finale. It didn't build it up at all. It felt very jarring to be going from that to that. And another one is that it doesn't really feel definitive to me. It's one where they end it as a part one. This is technically a part two, but I found out that this was not the ending of. This is not like a conclusion. This is a middle part, probably. If they're making a Dune Part 3 or what were they? They're calling it something else. Not Part 3, but they're calling it something. But all I know is this one, it cuts in a way to where I didn't feel satisfied with it. I know that. I wasn't feeling satisfied. But it's not like, I need to do Part 3 right now. I need it. And it didn't feel satisfying to me at all. It just felt like they didn't really know what to do left. And it felt like they were pushing too much in here. And the film was like 3 hours long. And my biggest one is one that this one is very much something that if you are crazy if you're not going to admit. This film was way too long. Like, there is no justification. I get Denis Villeneuve likes long films. This film is nearly 3 hours long. I felt the runtime severely. Like, I was really wanting this film to be over at a certain point because this film, it's not like one of those films like Blade Runner 2049, which is from the same director, which keeps at a good pace to where I'm not like, oh, when is this film gonna be over? That one flies by. This one, on the other hand, I am feeling the runtime quick. Like, the film really is not very, and the fact of the matter is, like I said, it's nearly 3 hours long, and it still felt like it was not covering too much. It felt like it didn't feel like it did much to the story. It felt like it handled a lot of Timothée Chalamet's character's stuff, but it also felt like unsatisfying, like where Zendaya ends up mad at him in the film, and we don't know. I get he did kind of cheat on her, but it's just weird to me that they did something like that. But anyway, the film is very long, and it wasn't for a good reason. It was just because they felt that they could stuff as much in there as they could. But all in all, guys, I do like this film. I did really... Sorry about that. I did really enjoy this film. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. It's been going down slightly ever since I keep hearing the fan base's reaction of like number one film on IMDb, one of the greatest films of all time, not even close on either film. This is not one of the greatest films of all time. Spoiler alert, it's not. It's a good film. That's all. But I mean, not a good film. It's a great film, but that's all. It's not like top tier of all time. Like people should be like putting saw traps for not liking this film as much as other people. But I will say I would give this an A+ on the grading system entertainment scale. Right now is at a 90. It could go lower. It could go higher. I am interested to see what I have with it on a second viewing. But I did take some significant issues with the film that I believe people were ignoring, which I don't know. I don't believe if they were gonna say it's flawless, they were ignoring. But I did really enjoy this film. I would go out and recommend this. Go see this in theaters. I may be a bit negative on it, but let me just say, this is a great film. I'm not going to try and paint my image too negative. This is a fantastic film. Go see this. You will love it. So go out and buy it, see it, get it as soon as it comes onto Apple TV. You will not regret it, especially if you were a fan of the first Dune. It has a lot of merit to it. In my opinion, it actually succeeds more than the first film. And I did love this film. I really enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one.